and you're watching The Secret Bliss. Today we have the gorgeous Howard Napper here with us, and he's going to share yoga poses that you can use if you are suffering from a thyroid imbalance. He's also going to share a little bit of information about it. He's going to explain what the difference between hyper and hypo are, and also what foods can support you in your mission to balance the thyroid, and little signs that you could possibly, look for to detect it as well. So, Howard, thank you so much for being here today. We've been here before.
Yes.
And it's been amazing. Howard also specializes in anti-aging yoga, so that's a big one for us girlies. And also, you're the creator of 20 yoga titles, 20 yoga DVDs. That's big stuff. I am impressed. Okay, so thyroid. This is a very big problem at the moment.
Yes.
And can you just give us a little bit of what is a thyroid imbalance, and what's the difference between hyper and hypo?
Yeah, good question. I mean, a lot of people, when they associate thyroid imbalances, they usually think of it as far as fatigue and also inability with weight loss, issues around weight loss.
Yeah.
And those are really important things.
Yeah.
But the thyroid itself produces a hormone, and it goes through a really complex process to get to the cell. But if it's not getting to the cell, then we've got a real problem, because the thyroid hormone goes to every single cell in the body. And there's only two hormones that do that. One is thyroid hormone, and the other one is vitamin D from the sun. Right? So those are crucial. You can imagine of all the 100 hormones that are released, that only two go to every single cell. So it can affect anything within the body.
Wow.
Heart issues, bone issues, brain issues, skin issues, eye issues, you name it. I mean, this is all related to the thyroid. So it's a very, very big subject. As I said, weight and fatigue are two big things, but that's what most people tend to concentrate on.
Yeah.
Hypothyroid is an underactive thyroid, and hyperthyroid is an overactive thyroid. Right. So there's an imbalance, basically. You also have what's called Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune disease that attacks the thyroid, and that's associated with hypo, and that's quite common as well. And then you have Graves' disease, which is also again an autoimmune disease, and that's affecting hyper. So they're quite common in those instances. Most of the time, people are hypo, underactive.
Right, and that's associated with weight gain. Whenever people are saying I can't lose weight, they always go to your thyroid.
Well, so I deal a lot with weight, and it's very weight issues. We know about weight now. We know what makes us put on weight, and that's basically insulin spiking foods. So fast releasing carbohydrates. If you take that out of your diet and you're still not losing weight, then you've got a hormone issue.
So that's a signal to go and check your thyroid.
Yes, but when you're going to go and check your thyroid, then you want to make sure you get a complete panel. And a lot of doctors don't do a complete panel. They'll only be looking for thyroid-stimulating hormone, TSH. And that's only one part of the chain of the thyroid process that gets the thyroid hormone to the cell.
So where can people find more information if they are needing to
You can get panels online. You can send, there are lots of labs doing blood work now, and you can send it off. But you also need somebody to diagnose it as well. I think a functional practitioner, functional doctor, or a naturopath or somebody like that, who you could go to, who you know that could give you a complete panel, if you're really concerned about that.
So that's one of the signs. If you feel as though you are gaining weight or you can't lose weight, then, and obviously not for the obvious reasons, like not because you're eating bread, but you really feel like you're stuck, you go and have a test. And then other
particularly
things,
women. Particularly more so than men, really, but it does apply to men. But it is.
What are some other symptoms?
You can get fatigue, weight loss. Then you get balding, thinning of the hair. The big one actually is the big test. One of the big tests a lot of doctors do. If you put a pencil to the middle of your nose and then take it out to the outside edge of your eye, so right there. And if your eyebrow, you've got no problems with this, by the way. If your eyebrow doesn't come to that area, then that's one of the signs that could tell you might have a thyroid issue.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so thinning the medial part of the eyebrow.
So hair
loss, infertility.
I've also heard about depression.
Depression, because
again, depression's a big one.
Well, depression and anxiety can come from thyroid because, again, brain cells. Right? So every single cell in the body, osteoporosis,
I'm going to be a little bit controversial here, but I've also heard that if you've just lost your libido and your sex drive, you need to check your thyroid.
Absolutely. I mean, completely.
Yeah.
I mean, this happens a lot with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So infertility, libido, yeah, you name it.
You know, it's so important. If you think it's like everything that we need for life, you know, we need to be happy. So, you know, it causes depression if it's imbalanced. It causes kind of loss of libido. It causes weight gain. So that's going to be loss of energy, fatigue. You would almost think it'd be a standard test we need to do at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, it is complex, and this is why there's not really one approach that fixes it all.
Yeah.
You have to take a holistic approach to this. It's not like just going out and getting Thyroxine.
No.
You know, I don't think that that's the answer personally. My humble opinion, I wouldn't do that myself.
I'm humbly with you.
Yeah, so the thing is, you have a holistic approach to dealing with it, because it's complex. But you know, you don't need to do a lot to make a difference. That's always my big theory.
So if we sort of gently suspecting, we are going to go and do the test.
Yes.
What lifestyle choices can we make to change?
There's a couple of big things that I think are really important, and I'll just talk about them first. Stress is a big one.
Okay.
And then supplementation or food. We can get something that the body needs in order to produce the thyroid hormone, particularly T3, which converts from T4. It goes through the process, and that's iodine. Right? So we need to get those things into the body in order for the process to happen. So we're going to share now 3 yoga poses that are going to de-stress and activate, stimulate the area of the thyroid. Getting blood to the thyroid is really important. Right. I mean, you have an issue in the body, it needs blood, right? So whatever it is, it's always good to have that stimulation. Remember, everybody, the quality of your health relies upon the quality of the circulation. You need to get it there. So Howard's going to show us 3 amazing yoga poses that are going to stimulate that circulation in the thyroid. Yeah, we do this a lot in yoga. We consider this a very important part. Yeah. This is the throat chakra. You know, and we call it Jalandhara Bandha. It's an area where we're constantly making, you know, we'll do this locking action, or more binding action, by bringing the chin down towards the chest, and obviously this is stimulating the thyroid, and we do this a lot. Yeah. Do you want to do them now, or should we do? Yes, let's go for it. Yeah, okay, let's do the first one. First one is pretty simple actually. It's a forward bend. So come up, let's start off, and then we'll lay down in a minute. So a simple forward bend. We'll stay on the mat. I'll do it with you. I'll instruct you to do it, and then. Okay, yeah. Great. So I'm not going to go through all the preparation for forward bends. People will probably understand that anyway. What I'd like you to do is come forward. But at this point, when you come forward, I'd like you to try and keep the area of the thyroid open, all right, and keep the spine long. That's it. So if you just tuck the chin in at the back of the neck lengthen, then that's allowing this area to be free. Now, inhalation and exhalation. Now what I'd like you to do, as you exhale, I'd like you to get a sense of tucking the chin in. So to bring Jalandhara Bandha in, and also bring the spine forward. Alright, so that's it, you go forward, chin tucks in a little more. Now, as you inhale, you're going to come back up again. And then as you exhale, same thing, you're going to tuck the chin in. So you're going to almost massage the thyroid by the movement. But also, because it's becoming semi-inverted, the blood now is flowing down to the thyroid and to the brain, obviously. But it's giving this stimulation of blood flow as well. So it's really simple. It's done in every single yoga class that you'll go to. And would you go all the way down, or? You can do. I mean, for example, if I come here and I want to come further forward, I'll bring the chin right. But then it's quite important, I think, to come up and give it the space, because it's almost like a massage. Yes. You know, so that stimulation isn't taken and held and squeezed. Yes. It's gentle pressure. It's not aggressive, and then you release. It's almost like coaxing the chi. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And then another one, which is very nice, and we were saying coaxing the chi. Yes, coaxing the chi. Coaxing the chi. Right. Exactly. So the thyroid has a lot of energy in it. I mean, this is why it's so important. So you know, this concept of chi or prana. So if you're laying down, if you're unable to do something like that, or you can't get to that inverted position, semi-inverted position with the head lower than the heart, then you can do it laying down. Okay. You can just simply take the hands around to the back of the head, and then very gently, with the same kind of idea, you're going to bring as you exhale, you're going to bring the head up and stimulate and squeeze, and then as you inhale, and so exhalation again. You know, in yoga we're often combining the movement with the breath. This is what is commonly referred to as vinyasa, to combine movement with breath. So
that
it's
feels
the
so
movement.
nice.
Yeah, it's a very simple thing. I like keeping it simple.
Yes.
Right? You know me.
Totally.
Always simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly.
Or keep it simple, smoothie, as my kids say.
Tell you something
right?
about that after this.
Yeah. So, you know, but that's true. It works. It's
yes,
just
it really
kiss,
does.
right?
It really
keep
does.
it simple, smoothie.
Yes.
So the other one is, this isn't so simple,
Yeah.
but we'll do a simple version of this.
Okay.
And this is a shoulder stand.
Okay.
Shall I demonstrate it?
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously you can do a shoulder stand as well, but you know, the whole concept of a shoulder stand is that, come to the center here, that when I come up, well, you can already see, I mean, if you're thinking about the thyroid here.
You're tucked, yeah?
Yeah, the chin is tucked in again, and now I've really got this inverted position.
And you don't have to come into a full shoulder stand, you can be exactly
yeah,
how
I mean, I love hanging out like this. I'll
Yeah.
eventually maybe take the legs up as well.
Yes.
But what's important, if I'm concentrating up here, then I'm not thinking about this so much. So all I'm trying to do at the moment is just the shoulders and just the neck. And then again, I use the breath, right? So that is a fantastic thing for thyroid.
Really
What I'd like to also demonstrate as
Yeah.
well is a variation of this for people that can't get up into their shoulders,
Yes.
because we can all do something similar to this
Can we do it here?
as well.
Can I show you?
Yeah.
Right.
What I would do, we haven't got a bolster, but I'll use a block here. So if you spin around, that's it. So you want your hips tucked into the wall. That's it. You've done this before. Right? And then when you're ready, spin around. So your sit bones now would be in against the wall.
So chair or wall or bed or wherever you
Yeah, you can do this on the bed. And what's quite nice, I'm just going to get you to listen. You can put a pillow or a bolster underneath. Because what you want to do is you want to elevate the heart.
That's lovely.
Right? So now you've got the heart elevated. And again, blood flow now, because remember obviously blood flow has had to go up to the thyroid before. Now you're using gravity to let blood flow go to the thyroid.
Would you move backwards and forwards?
You could do, but the nice thing about this and what I like about this is that you can spend a bit of time in this.
Yeah.
You know, you can spend 5 or 10 minutes in this position.
You could read a book here.
You know? Yeah, you know, what's quite nice, if you've got a belt, you can put a belt or a dressing gown around the legs. So what happens is that then you can let the legs fall apart, and then they're supported.
Yeah.
And it's a really great restorative position.
Yeah.
I love this position. It's one of my favourites actually. So yeah, so those are just simple things. You know, getting blood flow, stimulation, oxygen.
Yes.
Obviously take some nutrients. We're supporting the thyroid as much.
So those are 3 amazing poses that you can use. So you, first of all, if you are in, bed, you can just tuck and open, really massaging that area.
Yeah.
Then a shoulder stand, if you have that available in your practice. If you don't have it available in your practice, legs up the wall. The third one was just a forward bend.
Classic forward bend.
Classic forward bend.
Done in virtually every single yoga class, and you know, it's not that.
I think the primary focus mentally here is forget the pose once you're in it and just think of the thyroid. Send your energy to the thyroid, because where the mind goes, the chi flows, and that's our mission.
Absolutely.
So let's go into food. So nutrition.
Yes, as I said, iodine.
How can we get iodine? Yeah.
Well, you know, iodine isn't abundant in terrestrial foods.
Yeah.
So it's really seafoods that are the big source of iodine.
Okay.
Fish obviously is a potential source of iodine, but there's a problem with fish. We know that. It's feeds are polluted. So there's a tendency for me when I'm looking for sources of iodine, I'm looking for things like seaweed.
Okay.
Right? So that's great. Kelp. So you can supplement with kelp as well if you can't get hold of seaweed. There's seaweed soups which are fantastic to make. Also there's something called nascent iodine, which is a drop you can get, and it's an electronic iodine. It has an electrical charge in it, which seems like counterproductive, but it's trying to make it easily absorbable by the body. Right. So it's very easily absorbed, and that's a great way you can get sources.
What is that called?
It's called nascent iodine, and it comes in drops. I use it for my whole family.
Don't worry if you don't get I'm going to put this all in the description box, so you can just read all that.
Yeah, I mean it's available here, and you just take a couple of drops underneath the tongue. Mental clarity with that is extraordinary. I mean, it's going back to the whole mental issues with iodine and biohormone. Yeah. It's amazing when you start to take. You know, I would still advise you to try and get some guidelines on how to take these iodine supplements as well. Obviously, natural sources of food are great, eating those, and that will tend to... If you're supplementing, you really want a little bit of help because you don't want to overdo it.
Yes, so let me just recap that. So for iodine, you're recommending seaweed.
Yes, any kelp, seaweed, sea vegetables are great.
So kelp supplements, if you can't get hold of sea vegetables.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to get hold of.
And then this nascent iodine.
Yeah.
What else? Is there something else? Because I know that a lot of people can't get hold of seaweeds. Sea vegetables.
There's also some in eggs. I mean, as I said, it's not really a terrestrial. This is the problem. Sardines, but then that's again from the sea, and then there's the issues with the pollutants with the fish. The nice thing about the sea vegetables is that they have a process where they can detoxify themselves from a lot of the pollutants, whereas fish can't. So I tend to work more with the vegetables than I do with the seafood.
So let's go back a little bit. This has become a modern day disease, and obviously these are not very common foods in our diets. But we make iodine in our bodies.
Yes.
What is pulling and actually depleting us of our natural resources? Because should we maybe go to that part of the diet? What could we avoid?
Well, the thing is that I always go to stress, because stress complicates issues within the body, particularly the thyroid. And it's not so much what we're producing, it's what we're absorbing. You can have the best diet in the world, you can take all the supplements in the world, but if your cells aren't absorbing it, then it's useless, you've just wasted your money. So it's the absorption into the cell which is really important, and what blocks that is mainly stress. There's a big relationship between the adrenal glands and the thyroid, because basically if you're pumping up lots of adrenal energy, lots of adrenal hormones, stress hormones and sex hormones, cortisol, epinephrine, and all the sex hormones as well. If that's becoming chronic now, the body regulates itself. So what does it do? Through a system, it talks to the thyroid, the axis, the thyroid adrenal axis, and basically it shuts down the thyroid.
This is amazing, and I'm going to, because we could speak for hours about this, but I'm going to just wrap this up in that last stress word, because stress is huge. Stress is the biggest aging factor for us, and it really is the thing that creates most disease.
Maybe we'll do talk on stress next time.
Totally, it's like the biggest thing. So, you know, there are many ways to calm yourself down. Yoga is just one way, and I highly recommend it because I love it. It's my passion, and it's your passion. So if you can just, really just find some time in your life, even just 5 minutes a day. It's not the heroic journey, it's just the consistent practice to just de-stress, relax, do a couple of, great stretches and breathing. So that's from a physical point of view, and from a nutritional point of view, try to get hold of these things that Howard has just mentioned, and I'll put them down in the description box. And to all of you out there, thank you so much for joining us, and I think next time we're going to see Howard, it's going to be talking about this huge topic of stress. So, namaste, thank you so much.
Thank you.